Blessed day, soul family. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, and so we're doing Tai Chi Tuesday today, and I'm excited to present this concept, this idea today. And the question that we have is Tai Chi Chuan a martial arts for the soul? So we'll be looking into that. Um, I'll give you a little story about how I came across Tai Chi Chuan in my martial arts journey. We'll talk about sports and we'll talk about growing with your sport and an activity you can do till the end of life. And we'll go over some of the Tai Chi Chuan principles and we'll talk a little bit about solo practice and partner practice. So today, in the Tai Chi calendar series, we also have a quote, and I believe, let's see, I'm gonna have to pull that up, but that's okay. Um, the question we're asking is, well, we have martial arts for kicking, martial arts for wrestling, martial arts for joint manipulation, martial arts for punching. So, and then we have mixed martial arts that mixes all of those. So the question is where do we have martial arts for the spirit, martial arts for the soul? Because there's one battle that we will face and we will lose, and that battle is with Father Time, in which we return to Mother Earth. And so, as warriors, young warriors going into adulthood, our intentions, our goals, they become different, don't they? So when I was living on the mountain with Dr. Young and we were training, there was many older karate men who were seeking out Tai Chi practice, skill, and development, in addition to a lot of healing from injuries. So my friend Gray tells me about the warrior healer priest evolution in that the young warrior goes through all of the warring, the breaking down, the healing, facilitates the healer. And they have to learn how to heal the body. They learn how to heal themselves. And the healer and the service then facilitates the priest, the spirituality, the mystical, the unknown, and the great beyond, warrior, healer, priest. So I really like that idea and that progression. Um, we know historically that Tai Chi Chuan was practiced and developed by old retired generals, generals from what? Military service and the all the ramifications that come with that. So So there's that. This is the quote today for April 14th in the Tai Chi calendar series. What is what is Tai Chi Chuan? It is a martial Qigong study. Its training procedures are not different from this of other general Qigong practice and must follow the same theory. Pretty simple sentence from the Tai Chi Chuan theory by Dr. Yang. For those that don't know, because it's a question many times, What is the difference between Tai Chi and Qigong? Tai Chi Chuan and Qigong. So we know that Qigong is the umbrella term. Tai Chi Chuan follows under the martial Qigong um, subset. But with Qigong, there's a lot of overlap. So Tai Chi is also a spiritual practice. So it could be of the four schools, medical, spiritual, scholar, and martial arts. Tai Chi Chuan can also be a spiritual pursuit, practice, and lifestyle. So let's go to this other quote by Dr. Young. The goal of Taiji Chuan, and this is also from his book. Finally, your ultimate goal in Taiji Chuan practice is to harmonize your energy with the energy of the natural universe. In order to achieve this goal, you must regulate your spirit to a firm, strong, peaceful, and enlightened state. Remember five regulations: body, breath, mind, chi, spirit, Tiao Sun. Tiao Sun, regulate the spirit. What does that mean to regulate your spirit? We can think in Western terms that regulating the spirit could be going to church, it could be prayer. Um, Regulating the spirit can be active, it can be passive. So you can actively pursue spiritual practice. So I feel like through my martial arts studies and practice, I pursued spirituality. And that leads us to the story of how I stumbled upon Tai Chi Chuan. I grew up doing karate and I was very interested in influence. I grew up as a karate kid, so most people know that. But how did I find Taiji Chuan? In my continued watching of martial arts movies in the 80s and 90s, I was drawn to the mystical nature of power, morality, and self-development and control, which leads to the martial art lifestyle and discipline, right? My pursuit for practice was, yes, cool moves, cool forms, and whatnot. And I actually competed up until Junior Olympics for many years, from a young age to high school level, regional through the Amateur Athletic Union, regional tournaments, national tournaments, Junior Olympic tournaments. So I always had the inner question of how deep does this go? What is the meaning? And what is the nature of energy, spirit, and the felt sense of of this experience? So a friend of mine and myself, we moved to Florida to pursue a college um, internship program with Walt Disney, Walt Disney World, and we got accepted. And I still continued to pursue martial arts, so I went to a Tai Chi class that was just right across the street from where I lived. And the Tai Chi class that I went to was taught by, I forget his name now, but super influential. And then he and his group ended up introducing me to Dr. Yang. And I've been out of touch, but I'm terrible at keeping in touch, by the way, interestingly, as we talk about relationship, right? So we do this exercise where he says, I don't usually do this, but let's do this exercise and see, how you feel about it. We ended up doing the Taiji ball exercise. Relax your hands, face your palms toward one another, and see if you can feel the space between, see if you can have any sense or feeling between the palms. And that was when I finally realized I found what I was searching for. And it was the fact that there's an unseen quality, an unseen aspect, a felt sense to existence that you can't really see, but you can feel. And that's what feeling energy in my hands represented for me. It was a breakthrough. It was a spiritual breakthrough. It was a martial arts breakthrough. It was deeply profound and impacted my life to end it, and I ended up pursuing that that feeling and that education and intelligence as I trained with my teacher, Dr. Yang, on the mountain. So, years after moving to the mountain, I started to learn about Neisha Gong Fu, the yin side, the yang side, yin jin, yang jin, Chinese scholars, um, knowing thousands of years prior to me being on this planet that there's a yin dimension and a yang dimension. It all comes from the Tao. And, Nate learned that Tai Chi is the spiral force that facilitates the life cycle and the death cycle. So my thesis is that Tai Chi Chuan is a martial arts for the soul. I grew up doing a lot of sports, basketball, baseball, everything but football, soccer. And my parents asked me, "Well, you got to choose one. What would you like to choose?" And I chose karate. I wanted to do martial arts. And so I've always had that pursuit of learning and interest since I was a child. Here we are today, 44 years old this month. So no offense to other sports, but what other activity can bring you close to the Tao, close to finding your chi? And then also when the physical body starts to, is denigrate the right word? When you've reached your peak and your max, and then you finally start to have the aging process. This is around 30s, right? Late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, 40s, if you're lucky to be a professional athlete or a professional um, soccer player, baseball player, football player, what have you, taking a lot of training, a lot of hard training, and a lot of impact on the body that can't be sustained, right? Our bot, right? We realize we get to an age where the younger generation now starts to outperform. So now with the Taoist influence um, in martial arts, we can see the cultivating of spirit, the dual cultivation, swang shou, right? Because martial arts practice and these martial arts practices in particular come from the monastery. So I don't think that there's any other sport, that there's any other activity that you could really grow old with and grow out of the body's growth and development and into the spirit's growth and development. Hence, spiritual regulation, spiritual pursuit. And the scholars knew that. This is the way that they depicted the body in ancient times. I forget how old this is, but this is an ancient depiction of the body where from the tailbone all the way up the back and into the head, you have the spiritual nature of existence the upper dantian and the meditator there, the heart energy, middle dantian, you see the Big Dipper 7 star connection. Ancient Chinese have a um, folklore mythology that they come from the Big Dipper. We have a weaver. I feel like I've met met her actually in a psychedelic experience. Here is the root of the Dantian. This is the elixir field, the field of cultivation of energy. Down here, the the base chakra and gate where this the seat of the soul is. And then I believe these are waves, so you have the deep ocean aspect. And that's our Taoist image. And this is what we pursue, right? The energetic domain, transcending the physical so that we can open ourselves up to the energetic. So that is my pursuit here in this series, and why I'm interested in unity consciousness, why I'm interested in um, mental health through movement health, and Tai Chi Tuesday wellness as well, and even conflict resolution. So let's remember that the goal of Tai Chi Chuan is to reunite the spirit, one's spirit with the spirit of nature, right? And that's what led me to and me and my partner Nona to building the courses that we have. This is a book of Yin Yang Tai Chi, using nature's wisdom, embodying nature's wisdom for transcendence of the mundane, transcendence of the mental constructs, transcendence of the physical body back to Wu Ji. And I believe that this is uh, a peace movement, a literal peace movement to transcend any division, any polarity, any dualistic ideation. So you can find this on yinyangtaichi.org. Here's the outline of the book. There's solo movement and there's partner movement. And we have just started adding to our couples Tai Chi playlist. Um, we have a few videos that we've just uploaded, Yin Yang, at Qigong and Tai Chi with Javi and Nona. What is Tai Chi for couples? What is Tai Chi and Tai Chi Chuan? Why couples? And we introduced Tai Chi for couples. You can find more at yinyangtaichi.org about Yin Yang Tai Chi, any of the rudimentary courses, mental health series, or the Tai Chi for Couples series. So I would definitely encourage you to go and check it out. We even built our own routine, our own couples routine around Tai Chi for Couples and principles of Tai Chi Chuan. So we have to understand that everything is impermanent. We eventually will die, and that's good. We are part of nature. Everything that is a part of nature has a growth cycle and a death cycle. And that now leads us to, very deep questions. Why are we here? What are we meant to do? What is the purpose of life and living? So these are the questions that we ask, and this is the pursuit that we have as well. Um, and so Tai Chi is just so vast because you can build so much just from the principles and just from the questions. So. Yeah, let me know what you think about Tai Chi as an activity that you can grow with, because that's the question that I asked yesterday in our Monday mental health series. In order to maintain mental health, what is something that you can put your energy into throughout your whole life? I've heard of musicians tweaking out their arms and fingers and whatnot, and not being able to continue their art and their craft. So martial arts and Tai Chi in this way has this dualistic nature in that you can pour a lot into the craft and into the art. And at the same time, there's also this return of benefits, health, longevity, peace of mind, um, nature's intelligence, and and so that's my thesis, martial arts for the soul. Especially as we evolve as martial artists and even as humans, we have to contend with the fact that, well, we will die, but we don't want to impose death on anyone or bring harm to anyone, or um, bring death or harm to ourselves. So how do we uphold this highest standard of nourishing life, protecting life without taking it? Sometimes in conflict, we think it's better to take a life to achieve some sense of justice. So it could be argued that, an eye for an eye, it makes everyone blind. Two wrongs don't make a right. So we have this inner pursuit for the highest moral clarity and judgment, especially in the face of injustice. When we're witnessing injustice, what's the path towards righteousness? And we can go to the martial moralities to look at that as guidance in the moment. So I think that's all I have to say for today. We'll continue touching on this, um, the concept of relationship, unity consciousness, deep feeling, conflict resolution, and mental health and wellness. So I think one of the other concepts that we'll build on and terms that we'll define will be in the future integration. Integration, because when you start practicing the Tai Chi practices and principles with a partner, that changes the whole practice from solo skills and pursuits to now having another human being that you are um, interfacing with, interacting with, blending with, and for the pursuit of harmony, not just and it doesn't just have to do with martial arts. Like I said, my partner and I, we built Tai Chi for couples um, through this pursuit and with these principles. So because we know that conflict is inevitable, we also study mediation, we also study conflict resolution. We do understand that we need to have a template. We need to have build resilience, be ready, practice prevention, sustain maintenance practices, and build endurance and strength and resilience for our partnership. Uh, should we desire to sustain it, right? And that's the holy matrimony um, of of husband and wife under God. So, I feel like this is a Tai Chi for couples is a spiritual practice. It's a spiritual pursuit that couples can embark on. They can they can embody, learn to embody, and reinforce principal skills and spiritual skills and spiritual practices, and then bring that into everyday life, similar to yoga practice, meditation practice, how you attempt to take it off the mat or off the dojo and integrate that into your everyday life. We want to do the same with Tai Chi. Tai Chi is different because Tai Chi gives you the opportunity to interface with a partner, with the perception of another, but the reminder that all humanity is one soul family. So, again, let me know what you think. That will complete the presentation for today. Tomorrow will be Wellness Wednesday. Embrace the woo, and until next time, may your chi flow smoothly.